Hey, Internet, Eric here. And as you can see, I am not here alone. If you follow this little show of mine, God bless you. You do know that I do talk to a lot of professional wrestlers. Just last week, I talked to my first ring announcer, Larry Legend. And I have another important part of the wrestling puzzle with me. I am speaking to my first referee. She is the best referee this side of Springfield, a lot better than those Shelbyville bastards. I am here with
Oh
Miss Gina
God.
Monti. Gina, thank you for giving me an hour of your time just to sit down and shoot the shit a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I actually haven't been west of Springfield before, so I'm sure there's some lovely people out there.
There
But
could be.
I'm just making that disclaimer. That the thoughts of my host are not always of my own, but probably most of the time it will be.
That's
So
okay.
yeah.
That's okay. Lots of times my views aren't the same as my guests either, so just it is
Well,
what it
you
is.
should speak your mind,
uh,
speak your
Yep.
truth.
Uh, what I like to do with these interviews is I usually start out with how I came to know the I guess you would say the guest on a personal level, and I'm not just going to say I know you because I watch you on IWTV, the usual stuff. I think personal wise, I think I found you on X through the For You section. I think it's because I follow
Mm.
up people in ICW, and I don't know if you were just having a conversation with Shiny Shoes or something like that, and you shared a Simpsons theme. And if people know me, I have an obsession or an obsessive personality, and The Simpsons in
Mm.
conversation is one of those things. And pretty much when you and I converse on social media has nothing to do with pro wrestling. It is
Oh yeah,
just
that's the best
Simpsons,
kind.
Simpsons back and forth. So that's how I came to know you. Um,
Yeah, I find that it's funny. Like, it actually just happened pretty recently. I was at some family function or something, and a cousin of mine was like introducing me to these other people, but she introduced me as like a ref, and I was just
mhm,
like, oh no, now I got to like talk about it. I'm just
mhm.
like, yeah, I do this, and you want to talk about anything else? So
Yep.
I feel like most of the time, whenever I socialize with people in a locker room setting in general, like I don't really talk about wrestling with them much either. So
And I
it's what
mean,
it is.
I get it. I used to work in a bakery, and you know what? Eventually I got sick and tired of looking at donuts and brownies and all that stuff. And I get it, and that's why I said, we're gonna get the usual spiel out of the way that you've answered before. But that's why I said for Patrick's in the chat, he's now getting into interviewing people in the professional wrestling business.
Oh, okay.
you were you're I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of my hardest guest to get information on because I've only been able to air quotes do research, and that's just watch other interviews you've done. I've only was able to find two. So I did a little cherry picking, and what I thought was interesting is you initially got into the wrestling world through a wrestling tryout and you realized, nah, I don't want to take bumps. So is there anything
Mhm.
easier? How was it just a regular seminar and it was just one and done for you? And
I think like so Slick Wagner Brown is actually my trainer. I live in Connecticut, and I
mhm,
was just attending shows, and he just said, "Hey, I think you just have like a unique look," um, which I think does like at least help with getting bookings, I guess, as like a ref. But he
mhm.
was expecting me to like love wrestling, and I did one class, and I'm like, "This really sucks. I don't like it," but I still kept going because he gave me like a month free. Well,
Mhm,
I think like a lot of schools usually do something like that. They give you like it was like a trial period. And I just told him like, you know what, I gave it like as long as I wanted to, maybe even a little bit longer, but I just can't see myself doing wrestling. It just seems too difficult for me. It's a hard art to perfect and even just
mhm,
get introduced to. So I just told him I had like other commitments that I wanted to get out of the way first before thinking about trying and committing to something entirely new. So I told him if I sort of think about it for a while, maybe there is some sort of like not I don't want to say like completely non-physical role, but
right.
something else. And yeah, over probably like 6 months afterwards, I went to actually manage somebody.
Mhm.
That's what I was originally training for. And then they needed me to do like practice matches as a ref, which I was fine with. And I don't know, it just kind of like fell into place pretty well from there.
Yeah, but one thing's interesting though that I found out is, as a referee, because you've already decided I don't want to take bumps. That's I don't want to get hurt. And which is
Yeah, which
smart thinking. You know what I mean? Getting hurt isn't fun, but at times refs do have to take bumps. There's the infamous picture you like to share of you and Cruel, and you always say "avenge me." So
yeah.
when that happens, like you have gotten thrown through a table once in a corner, and you have gotten involved, with the heels and stuff like that. Are you still kind of glad that you at least had that seminar, or had it been so long where when you've had to take bumps like that, certain
Mm.
situations where you're just like, screw it, just do it, fingers crossed, and I hope I don't get hurt type of situation?
Yeah, well, the thing about the ref training too is that they do require you to do some basic stuff. So
Hmm.
I was doing that for like a few years, and usually what my schedule was, besides doing the drills at the beginning of the class, was
Hmm.
usually going through drills with beginners while people were working through their matches before I would practice ref them. So I think it worked out in that way. The thing with the door was actually, like, not as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. I remember I was, like,
Hmm.
so nervous beforehand, like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go through this thing," but it really didn't feel like anything at all. I just,
Hmm.
well, I was like, "Oh, we're done now." So, but there are some bumps that are, a bit nastier than others that sometimes you can't really plan for because sometimes it's, like, hard to even think, like, that scenario would come up at all.
Hmm.
And, sometimes, as you could see, it just happens in the moment, so you just gotta be prepared. But I did like judo for a long time before I even did pro wrestling. So, at least I know how to, like, fall properly. It might not look as clean as, how wrestlers do it because they're pretty, like, square and,
Hmm.
flush and straight whenever they do, like, a certain bump, whereas I usually take the shoulder. So, you know, I guess
it,
it just
it
does its
is what
job
it is.
of
Yeah, yeah.
not getting too hurt from something, but yeah, there are times where you can't, like, always prepare.
That's it. Actually, you mentioned judo, and I know you're into martial arts. That was kind of a funny story I did pick up from an interview. Is you learned judo because you showed up for the wrong class, or you showed up on the
Oh,
wrong day?
kung fu was what I learned because I showed for the
Okay.
wrong class. Judo was just something that, like, my family has been doing, like, my uncles have done it and things, so that one, like, started way back when I was, like, in high school,
Oh, okay.
and it was fun, but I wasn't really good at it competitively. It was just more of a hobby. I did try tournaments, I got my ass kicked, and I'm like, "Well, I could learn a lot, but I think
Yeah.
I'm
Again,
good
the whole
not
pain
spending
thing.
the
I don't
money
want to
for."
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, kung fu was, afterwards, which I probably practiced, like, more consistently than any of the other ones, though I did take the winter off and, excited to get back into it.
Okay. Uh, so what goes into honestly referee training? Because that's the least I know when it comes to the wrestling world. Like I know you got to know the finish and stuff like that. When to kick out and stuff like that. And I don't think people understand how important the referee is to the match as well. Like if the baby face has to get over and the heels cheating type of thing, you got to get in there. What actually goes into, I mean, long story short, I guess air quotes referee training,
Mm. Well, I guess
if
it
that
could be
makes sense.
different. Yeah, it could be different for different, schools. One thing that I do notice that other schools are trying to do more is, like, more first aid certification type stuff, but at the time when I was starting, I had, like, a town job, so we just kinda
Hmm.
did it through there, and I think I was really the only referee who was, training, but now just because of, like, not just because of, I would say, like, recent events, but just in general, it's probably a good idea for a lot of people to probably do it anyways for everybody, because there are, like, really weird ways that people, are aware of, like, what a concussion is, but not
Hmm.
necessarily what it always looks like, and that's a tough one because it could just be
Yeah.
different for different people. But usually, like, when you see something where their arms kinda, like, go up and it's, like,
Hmm.
stiff and straight, that's one, that comes up, but it's a weird one because whatever free resources that are out there with concussion protocol like that, they don't really talk about that type of stuff. It's more about, uh, if like they can't answer certain questions, which is a good trick to have. But there definitely are some like more medical tells that I think are not always like the easiest information to get.
Mhm.
So I think that at least it would be good if schools did have like someone in EMT like kind of come in and talk about it a bit more as well from their own personal experience. I would probably encourage that. Otherwise, I mean, you kind of do the training like everybody else does, at least with the basics. You're probably not going to like necessarily wrestle to the same caliber as other people, but there are referees who do prefer that. So
Mhm.
it could be kind of up to what your personal level is. And I mean, when it comes to like the mechanics of a match, a lot of schools, well, I mean, I feel like every school just, teach you how to like call it for real.
Mhm.
And then, I'm not going to say any further with details, but like,
Sure.
depending on like what promotions that you go to, especially if you do like comedy stuff, like when I started working for Shikara, which was like a very brief time,
Mhm.
you're not going to necessarily call it like a shooty, like super, super real match. There's gonna be like comedy bits and
Mhm.
timing and acting and stuff that's in it too. So sometimes it could be learning on the job.
Yeah, because I was wondering because a lot of time or through those interviews, I picked up that it seemed like at least you were a fan of the more traditional style wrestling, like Ring of Honor and stuff like that. The grappling stuff. How do you adjust from refereeing something like that, a big time traditional type match, to something like a full on comedy Chikara type
Mm.
match, to something like you've done a few death matches. How do you prepare, like or is it kind of like the cruel situation, you're just like, okay, he's gonna put me through a door, okay, okay,
uh,
this is supposed to be funny and this is gonna be dangerous type of situation. Is there a certain mind frame you have to get into
well,
for the
I
different
feel like with
styles?
comedy matches, unfortunately, there's just there's certain type of people who could do it. Like if you
Okay.
can't really like if you're gonna do the spot and you're like laughing the whole time and
Right.
not really like going along with it, then you kind of just like spoil it a little bit. There was one match that I did at Interspecies where it was really hard not to laugh, and I had to cover my face a lot because it was Giant Tiger wrestling Sean Henderson, I think. And like I was told beforehand that this is a match where it's gonna purposely be bad, but the gag is like you can't like do over the top, like react to it. Just try to treat it like a strict match. So sometimes you
Hmm.
can be given like directives like that,
Okay.
and it was so hard. That was I kind of want to watch it back actually after this. But the death matches was an interesting one because I kind of it's not great, but considering the nature of what it is, you kind of
Hmm.
have no choice but to learn on the job.
Right.
However, I did the very best I could to prepare. So SPO, for example,
Hmm.
he was someone who I tried to spend as much time talking to before I would start. And the way, if you can actually ease into it by doing like matches that don't use glass, for example,
Right.
and just get used to gussets, get used to barbed wire, especially. That's a really,
Hmm.
really tough weapon to deal with. If you roll around in that, it just gets like worse.
Hmm.
Maybe even like go to an ICW, or it's really like the only promotion that I work for that does death matches, but try to go to those places early, see what is happening because that's usually when people are putting the weapons together, and just get some experience like working with it. So at least you know like how it reacts.
Hmm.
But when it comes to like light tubes and glass, especially light tubes, it's a whole different kind of thing. Um, with those types of matches, even with hardcore in general, it's hard to not be in the way of cameras. Where if I did a traditional match, I might not always have like the super, super best, like I'm flush and square at the shoulders to look at a pin. But sometimes I have to be mindful that other people who are watching from home might not see it because I'm blocking camera. Those are like those things that I have to think about production wise much differently than doing things with like death matches because you just have to get out of the way and just not get hurt.
Hmm.
You're also much more busy in those matches, making sure that things are cleared out when they need to be. There's like a whole philosophy with it that takes a bit longer to go through. But
Sure.
comedy matches are probably my favorite. I don't get to do them very often.
Hmm.
And if I worked for a promotion that could just let me do that all the time, and I would get paid good money. That
Yeah.
would probably be awesome. The shooting style matches are good too. Often, I don't really think I do anything too different with those, except I'm probably going up and down a bit more
Mm-hmm.
than like a regular American style match, I suppose. There are times, especially in like those matches, where I might have to roll out of the ring to count at the apron,
Mm-hmm.
just because of like how people land. But death matches for sure, like those are the category matches I would say I would have to fluctuate and adjust like a different skill set for.
Yeah, I always like to take a newbie with me when I go to those shows because I always tell them it's an experience. You know, you might not enjoy or want to go to a second one, but it is an experience you won't forget. I do want to. Here's a question for Patrick. He's the one I said he's getting into pro wrestling. Can you explain what the X means, and have you, as a referee, ever had to use it? Since we're talking about the dangers of
Mhm.
pro wrestling.
X just basically means that someone is hurt, and realistically, it means that whoever is on medical has to come and assess.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on what independent promotion that you're at, and I've definitely had my share of like working at some promotions that were not great before the pandemic, and also like without the best like protocol that we have now. I feel like independent wrestling does adjust to getting better each time.
Mm-hmm.
X could probably even just mean that someone is really hurt and are probably signaling for someone somewhere to like come and help, because you really shouldn't be by yourself trying to figure out something. I probably only threw it up like once or twice. It doesn't happen too often because
Right.
whenever someone like gets hurt for real, they're usually like on the outside of the ring, and someone else is able to notice it first before coming over. Uh, it's also a little bit different when I'm supposing on TV. It might be a little bit different. I'm not really sure like what the protocols are, so to speak, at different promotions. But when I was at Ring of Honor, I would just be able to like radio into the doctor who was like right next to the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. So sometimes like the doctor might be able to see something that you can't, especially if like you're distracted for something or you're on a totally different like if there's like a lot of people, etc. You can't always like be on top of like everybody.
Right.
But usually an X doesn't always mean like the match ends. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
could like pause it and assess and say, okay, like what's really going on here, especially when you have those like gray area issues, which come up way more than like someone actually getting,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're like, injured. And then from there, you just decide to stop the match or not. So that's the way that I see it.
Yeah. One thing I really got a question for is like me. I suffer from social anxiety. I might not show it like during these live streams or BSing with friends online, but when I'm out there, like in the real world where where we don't want to go, type of thing,
Mm,
I
yeah.
my nerves are really bad around people and stuff like that. Have you ever gotten, because you already, as a referee, you got to know, boom, 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 those type of steps. You got to be, like you said, wary of the cameras. You know what I mean? So you're not blocking any shots like that. And now, lots of times, you work for IWTV. Lots of times, you're on television, pay per view, stuff like that, and anybody's watching you. Lots of times, live streams. Does that work into you at like nerves, or are you just kind of like a steel trap? You block it all out, and does it hit you afterwards, or are you just an easygoing person and you're not nervous when it comes to those situations?
I think the nervousness mostly comes into play uh, when I'm working for a new promotion,
Okay,
or if I'm working with certain people I've never worked with before, because I just, don't want to mess it up.
right.
But I feel everybody usually gets that. Even like wrestlers who I work with, they'll say like, "Oh, I'm nervous," when like they got in the bag. Sometimes you can't really like predict when it'll show up. But I don't really get nervous in terms of how it looks on stream or anything like that. It's just more like I just want to make sure that the match goes, like well. So just making sure I don't mess up.
Yeah.
That's really it. And of course you're going to mess up. I've definitely pulled like some really bad mistakes and a lot of like small mistakes on recording, playback,
Hmm.
streaming. So the first time that's like ever happened to me where it was like really bad, when I didn't
Hmm.
count to three because I was supposed to get pulled out and it was late. Someone like messaged me about it, and he basically said, "You just have to have bad stuff happen to you, or else you can't get over it."
Mhm.
And pretty much he was right. So a lot of the times, like when I feel that there's egg on my face and I still feel nervous, or it's like getting on me after a match, is when I'm usually met with something I've never dealt with before, and I wasn't sure if like I handled it one way or the other better than somebody else. So a lot of, again, like there's gonna be scenarios that you just won't be able to train well for.
Yeah.
So learning on the job is like one of those things where, yeah, like no one wants to mess up, but I mean, unfortunately, it's just a
It's
necessity and a part of it.
and it's a way, it's just like you said, you learn from it. It's a learning experience,
Hmm.
and you just, fingers crossed you don't do it again and again and again type of thing.
It won't be the first, it won't be the last, probably, but
Exactly. Now, how long have you been a referee? Like,
since 2018.
okay. Have
Yeah.
you ever, and being a fan of wrestling, have you ever, and we can, you don't have to have this as a nervous situation or anything, but has there ever been a situation where you were a referee of someone's match that you were a huge fan of way before you got into the business? And has that, well, we can say, has that affected your nerves at all? Because you're like, okay, now that you got the pressure of, say, I was watching this guy, 2-3 years before I didn't want to
Mhm.
be a wrestler, so I became a ref. You know what I mean? That type of
Mhm.
situation. You're like, okay, now I'm actually
Mhm.
refereeing their match, and now I really don't want to screw it up. Or was this one of those, wow, I've kind of made it. This is so cool moments that's ever happened?
A lot of people are a lot friendlier than you think that they would be, and then there's some people who are not as nice.
Mm-hmm.
Working with the people who are not as nice are the ones who probably make me more nervous, whether
Mm-hmm.
they are someone who's like at the same experience level and still on the independence like I am, or someone who like did work for big companies before. Rich Swann is an amazing example, and I had a match with him very recently where he just makes everyone feel so comfortable around him
Nice.
that it doesn't like affect you much. I'd say that it's definitely rarer now than when I started, but I guess that's pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no one who really comes to mind in terms of like I'm like super nervous. There are certain people who I think are like very particular about your performance, but usually those are the people who are not wrestling the matches. They're the people who watch you. So sometimes I'm more nervous to make sure that the match goes and well, just showing that I have like a good foundational skill level for
Mm-hmm.
those people at this point.
Okay. Do you consider this like, you're going to be doing this for a while? Is this one of those things that, hey, I'm just going to keep doing it until it's not fun anymore? Because you've seen a lot of these referees, like whether they're independent or not, they're lifers because it's in them. They just have so much fun. Like at
Mhm.
this moment, it could change tomorrow. Is this one of these things that you think you could see yourself doing 10 more years down the road if it's still fun type of thing?
I think it's possible, sure. Another 10 years, I'm not sure about that because
Right.
I'm 35 right now. So, you never know if like something will happen, God forbid, like,
Mm-hmm.
my body just won't be able to keep up with it. And I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure that I could stay in as long as possible. I didn't even think that I could like commit to this thing long term until after 5 years in. I'm usually like a little bit slow on the take.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, what was it? A late bloomer
Yeah.
in a lot of those ways. And because of that, I don't really map out the future very well, especially when it
Mhm,
comes to objectives, because I prefer not to have like a very strict set of like goals, or
mhm,
else I'll feel like strange if I like fall short of it. I did try doing that this year though. I did actually try like making a goal chart, mostly in the vein of like how like what kind of longevity I could get out of this career,
mhm.
and it drove me crazy.
Yeah,
So I think right now it's probably taking it year by year would be the best case scenario, and seeing like, all right, this year could I actually do this or this,
mhm.
and then going from there. But for now, it just seems like I'm in it till who knows when.
Yeah, yeah,
It's an
and
interesting
and
question.
yeah, and I mean, 10 years, that was just, a number I just pulled out of
Well,
my
some
pocket
people
type
do
of thing.
think like that though. So I don't really think it's a bad question at all. It's just like every time like I'm at work or I'm like in a job interview, they're like, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? I'm like, I hate this question because I just don't really think like that. But
Yeah.
some people do. So I don't think it's a bad question at all.
No, like okay. Well, since just to make sure that we get the main reason I told you we'd just be sitting down and shooting the shit, and I don't want to go off on too many tangents when we bring it up. Um, and like you said, when you come over, do we have to talk wrestling again? You know, we got all that stuff out of the way. We're gonna get to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And the main reason, like I said, that we interact is either the stuff from the MCU, which you should be happy now that Daredevil Born Again season 2 is available. I know you were
Yes.
worried last night. I haven't watched it yet, but
Well, I just thought it was kind of stupid that they didn't even like post the timestamp of when the episode will go live, because I think that they did that with all the Star Wars stuff. So, or maybe I was like looking at Hulu. I don't know. I was just like, could you just tell me like what time so I don't have to keep logging in like an idiot? Like,
if
it's gonna show up
If
now.
Avengers Doomsday, that's not coming out till fucking December, can have a YouTube time stamp, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they could do something for
As
that.
a disclaimer, this is probably, geez, the first interview I've done since like 2 years ago, because I do get offers every now and then. Not like, I'm not
Mhm.
saying that I get offers like a lot, but every now and then I will have someone pop up and ask me to go on.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I just don't think I have like anything that interesting to say about wrestling to like fill up the time that they want. And I'm like, I don't know. It's also like weird too, because sometimes like there are interviewers who don't like do any kind of like background before you start, and like that's always like the really awkward thing. So
N
Patrick, I'm sure you will be fine now that you've
Yeah,
understood my experience of working with certain people who are like not great at interviewing. But anyways, yeah, this is the stuff that I kind of signed on for, because
yeah.
and we talked about this before we started with Eric about, yeah, even like when I'm just like in the locker room before a show starts, I'm like talking to people like, hey, did you see that movie that came out over
Yeah.
the weekend or something? I think my
That's like
cat
I
is
said,
gonna make an appearance. We'll see.
that's that's okay. Why I had
Yeah,
Larry
we'll
Legend
see.
on last week, and we saw plenty of
There
the
he
cat.
is.
Yeah. Patrick will be happy. He's a big cat.
All
He's
his
a big cat
glory.
guy.
His name is Kimchi.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason why I kind of, slid my foot in the door to, just be an interview. I'm like, I know Gina doesn't do a lot of interviews, and I'm not gonna lie, other than my own indie promotion and maybe really ICW and a little bit of GCW, I don't know a lot of indie wrestling stuff, but I gotta air quotes be professional. You know what I mean?
ICW is I will I guess like close the wrestling chapter of this out by talking about ICW a
Sure.
bit,
Me
because
too.
I feel bad. I had to pull off the last few shows just because like one, I had bronchitis throughout of like all of January going into like
Mm-hmm.
part of February, and I was just like, I can't even like breathe. I can't imagine breathing in like all the light tube dust. And then I had like some other I was like getting sick a lot
Mm-hmm.
end of last year too. Um, but like, yeah, I love ICW. It's again like one of the very few places that I am comfortable doing death matches in, because I trust the people who work there.
Right.
And the Cambridge shows are awesome. Like we get to actually do like a lot of really cool stuff there. But Danny is like an estranged enabler, because I told him the first time that I was scheduled to work there, I'll do pit fighter, but I won't do no holds bar, because I want to just kind of learn the process. And
Sure.
that was back when they used to do pit fighter on a Friday and then the chains on Saturday. So I was in
Sure.
Chattanooga, and then friggin' like John Wade Murdoch and Adam Priest used one light tube in a match at Uncharted.
Uh-huh.
I was like, well, how the fuck do you want me to do this? They're like, we're only going to use one for the finish. It'll be on the mat. So
Mm-hmm.
you can do it. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So then I did it, and they saw that very, very, very controlled match. And Danny on Twitter was like, I'll see you in the chains. And I'm like, God damn it.
What a
But
dick.
to his credit, he only booked
Yeah.
me for one match. So
Mm-hmm.
at least I was not like too overwhelmed. But that was
Good.
how I basically got into death matches, just because of Danny DeMonto.
Good. Yeah.
Just checking on the cat, because sometimes he gets demanding.
He's got a way of selling stuff. Just trust me. I know I've had many conversations with Danny and stuff
He
like
made
that.
my first set of 8x10s, to be honest.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm like pretty grateful for a lot of things that they let me do. They also trust me a lot, which is
Mhm.
great. I mean, you should be trusted a lot when you're doing
Mhm.
matches like that, but there's some people who've been doing it much longer. So
Yeah.
I feel very grateful for it.
Yeah, and like I said, I've told. Well, me and you talk all the time. The main reason you and I we're always posting Simpson stuff. And what I like about you, it's not just the usual like gifts or whatever. Lots of times you kind of make me work for figuring out where the quote is because every now and then it'll just be a random post on X, and I'm like, I know who said that. What episode is it? And then again, like I said, with
Mhm.
my obsessive compulsive stuff with that, I'm like, okay, what's the very next line? Type of thing, and then can I follow that up with a GIF? All right, we're not that much different in age.
No.
I've been watching The Simpsons since '89, since it came out.
Okay.
Do you know when? I mean, they've been on for God, they're
Oh,
pushing nearly 30 years. Do you know when you
2000,
started roughly?
about like 2001 or so, because my parents weren't like really into me watching that show when I was younger. I was born in 90.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still like during the
Mm-hmm.
golden age while I was like growing up. Season 6 probably being my favorite, but 8's not too bad either. And I have seen a
Mm-hmm.
couple from season 8 just because I have like cousins who watched it. But I wasn't really much of a TV kid anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And they bought me because my dad actually liked the show. Like he
Okay.
wasn't being strict and like you can't watch this crap because it's bad. He liked it, but he also knew that these were the jokes that were in the show. So
Yeah.
yeah, he did buy me like I think seasons 1 through 3 on DVD set. And
Mm-hmm.
for a long time I was just watching golden era stuff from the DVD set. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let my cat out. I'll be
No,
back
go
in a
ahead.
second.
No, go ahead. Patrick, like I said, you'll appreciate the cat.
He's a great cat, but he's very loud.
That's
So
okay.
that's why I try to
I
let him
do
out when they ask me to.
I do a bi-weekly podcast with a friend of mine, and we're live, and she's got dogs barking all the time, and one of the dogs is blind, so it's not like he could look
Oh,
at her and like know where she is right away to
yeah.
come and be in the. So don't
Sweet,
worry
sweet
about it.
doggy. Sweet
Yeah,
doggy.
Simpsons is one of my thing that I've always loved. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because 1989. It's a cartoon. You know what I mean? Then as I grew older, I got to appreciate the how smart some of the humor was. It was one of those things like
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
me and my friends, at the end of school, walking out to the bus, we'd just be quoting the stuff all the time. And just in case we went on tangents, and I did warn you there'd be some Simpson stuff. I'm gonna put you to the test and see how
Oh,
much you
shit.
really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not
Okay.
gonna be
All right.
it's not
Okay.
trivia or anything like that,
No,
but
hey, I mean, I was just like, ooh, I wasn't prepared for this. Oh,
good.
just a
That
surprise.
was the point. That was the point.
I'm folding
Um,
my hands together.
Excellent. Everybody now, everybody who does these wrestling interviews, they always have a Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestling? Who's your Mount Rushmore of deathmatch? Blah blah blah.
Mm,
I've got different categories, and the reason why I'm calling it Mount Rushmore is you can only pick 4 with each category.
mm.
Okay.
Yep.
And when I say Mount Rushmore, it's not of importance. It's not like, well, I have to pick this person because it introduced this type of thing. Not like, I'd pick Bruno San Martino because if it wasn't for Bruno, all this. This is just basically favorites. So like top 4s.
Mhm.
So I have my list, and it's up to you if you want me to share because I don't want to influence you, but it's up to you.
Mm.
I have main characters, and it's
Okay.
not just the Simpsons household. Okay, I mean that also includes basically a character you're going to see every 2 episodes. So Burns and Smithers, Apu, Ralph, stuff
Okay.
like that. But
Sure.
the trick here is you can only Grandpa counts. You know what I mean? Because he's like every
Mhm.
2 episodes,
So they have to
the,
be recurring.
pretty much.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the little asterisk is if you pick a Simpson, you can only pick one. So if you pick Marge,
Okay.
you can't pick Grandpa, you can't pick Lisa, you can't pick Homer. So
Hmm.
who would? Because like I said, I have mine. Who would your top 4, just off the top of your head,
Well,
favorite main
Krusty
character?
has to be first. There's
Okay.
a lot of really great Krusty stuff. He probably is like the one character who has like the best one-liners in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, if you said Futurama, I think I would probably come up with this faster. But I mean, it's a Simpsons. It's such a big cast. Um,
And it doesn't have to be in order either.
it could be
So
like Troy McClure. I really liked
okay.
Phil Hartman, and I
Mm-hmm.
think him as Troy McClure was a little bit better than Lionel Hutz. So I'll choose one Phil Hartman character.
Okay.
Lionel Hutz,
I
yeah,
won't.
has like a lot of good stuff. I just like the Troy McClure character, but I don't know what it is. It's just like it's funny.
I understand that.
Yeah,
There are no Phil Hartman guys on mine because I really wanted to kind of go more random. But
more random. Okay.
well, no, it's your list. That was me. But
Okay.
there's just
All right.
something about that shyster lawyer that I just love about
Yeah,
Lionel
Lionel Hutz is
Hutz.
a really good one, especially when he turns around. He's like, "I don't have like a tie on at all." Like that. That's an
Yeah,
amazing line.
when
But
he's
I think that
babysitting the
like,
kid, when he's babysitting the kids, and he pulls out the switchblade. Don't touch my stuff.
oh
You know
yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
I think it's just because Lionel Hutz, whenever he seems to be introduced into an episode, it's usually for like a story-driven element. Whereas
Hmm.
with Troy McClure, he could kind of be doing that, or he could just be like some throwaway guy.
Okay.
But yeah, Lionel Hutz, I mean, they're both great characters. I would just probably go with Troy McClure first.
Okay. We got two
Lisa,
more.
just because I always had, I felt like the relationship between Lisa and Homer is very like reminiscent of my father and I.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I know not a lot of people like Lisa, but I do. So whatever.
If she's paired with the right person, she's
She's
great.
there for like, again, story driven elements. I
Hmm.
don't think she's really there to be like a comedic character. Sometimes she can say something that's funny,
Yeah.
especially when it's her and Bart doing something together. But I think that you do have to have some type of voice of reason in a show like that, or else
Yeah.
it feels like the dynamic is off a
You
little
have
bit.
to have the straight man with the
Right.
goofy
Hmm.
characters. You really do.
Yeah. Like especially when everyone's doing their one liners and she's just like, "I'm going to bed."
Yeah.
Like that is like a very anti humor joke, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know the jargon for it. Like my roommate Brian, who I sometimes stream with, like he's great with like remembering all the types of like terms that you use in like theory for television and
Hmm.
stuff. A last one though is kind of tough to say because Ralph has some good things in it. I kind of want to go
Hmm.
with a school kid this time around because
Sure.
they really do make, I think, the cast more well rounded. I I'm starting to get into Martin's stuff a bit more because like he is so unintentionally funny, like he doesn't really mean
Yes.
to
Yeah.
be. And who is it? Who voices that character?
Is it Tris McNeil?
It might be
Trying to.
just McNeil.
Yeah.
Is like I feel like all the lines that like she does for him is like so well done. But oh my god, there has to be like a different thing. How about you go through your list first and then I'll
Okay.
choose my last one.
Okay. No, sure.
That'll be my level of influence from you.
Sure, no problem. I obviously had to have Homer. Homer is like if I'm picking a Simpson,
Oh
he's my
sure,
guy.
yeah.
I have to just whether he's because lots of times he's a perfect 50-50. He's the big dumb guy who likes to drink beer and eat, but then when he has those serious moments, it
Hmm.
works. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when he's with his mom or when he's with Lisa and he's trying his hardest to just failing miserably, but he doesn't realize he's failing. So that's why I
Mm.
like him. I had Krusty because I'm a sucker for a sad clown, a sad, alcoholic, mean clown. You know what I mean? Um, I went with groundskeeper Willie because he's just one of those guys that I just can't
Yeah.
help laughing every time I see him. Whether he's chasing Santa's little helper in the vents, and they're parroting Alien,
Oh
or
yeah.
just
Yeah.
him
He's all
just being
greased
kind
up.
of a he's just being kind of a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just funny. And then I went with Mo the bartender because I just like how he
Hmm.
graduated from just a prank call from Bart to just like he's got some of the funniest lines out there. And kind of like I said with Krusty, the sad clown, he's a depressing character, but he just makes me laugh. And I'm like, I shouldn't laugh at this joke. But the way Hank Azaria
Oh,
would say it.
he's just like the best, I think, at like the one line jokes. And
Mhm.
he's also another character who's pretty dynamic where you could have something that's story driven with him or just he'll just be there because why not?
Yeah. Yeah. You
I
need a
guess
funny line.
like That's a tough one because I want to go with a recurring character who's voiced by a guest. Um, I would
Well,
love to say Fat Tony, but I'm
I'll tell you
yeah.
this: we do have other characters in categories like that are
Okay.
every 10 or 15 episodes and
Okay.
stuff like
Okay.
that. So
I'll
we
save
have
it
to
then.
make it to make it easier for you,
Ah, gee, I
or
guess
make it
I'll have
harder
to
for
say.
you.
I guess I'll have to say Ralph.
Okay.
I like Ralph a
Yeah,
lot, but that's a
okay.
very tough thing to do with like just four.
I know. I
Except
know.
Krusty. Krusty is like, I
Krusty's the ultimate. I mean, I would probably put
yes,
Krusty over Homer to be honest. And just little simple
yeah.
things like when there at first it was face paint. You know what I mean? But now it's gradually like
Hmm.
moved on to all the bad things he's done in his life. It's not paint on his face. Just little simple things like that just makes me love him so much. The next category I have is I called it secondary characters. And
Okay.
what that's basically, I'll give you an example. On my list, I have Hans Moleman. I have Dr.
Hmm.
Nick. You know what I mean? Those characters
Oh,
that
that is a good
literally
one.
show up like every dozen episodes
Yeah.
for a
Okay.
quick bit, make you laugh, and then they're gone.
Mhm. Does Ned count, or is he not really?
I
I don't know,
will.
like how often
I'll let
he
you put.
shows
I'll
up.
let you put him in that. I'll let you put him in that category
I
if you want
guess
to.
like it would have to be him because I mean, he's just the typical like neighbor goody two shoes character.
Hmm.
Usually whenever he's like involved in something, it usually like is a part of the plot of an episode.
Yeah.
He has like some good stuff every now and then too. That just like I just didn't expect like that line from him. It'll just make me laugh. I like Ned. I would say Superintendent Chalmers is probably good to put on that
Good.
list.
I didn't even think of him for mine. Good for you.
He comes in, I think, frequently enough.
Hmm.
But it depends season to season, though. Even if he is like a background person. Oh, Lenny for sure. He's got to be on that. Uh,
Whenever I think of Lenny, I always laugh when
he's,
he's in the
he's just
house and the
great.
house falls down. Don't
Yeah,
tell
he's
anyone
just
how I
great.
live.
Like the whole thing where I started really getting into that joke of the B&B thing where he's like, "Oh, Marge and I are gonna go have like a romantic getaway at a B&B," and he goes like, "Yeah, can I come?" I
Yeah.
just think it's like so great. It's like, nah, that'd be awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lenny for sure. Uh, and I really like a good Sideshow Bob episode, but
Favorite
I wouldn't. I
favorite
don't know
Sideshow
if
Bob
like
episode
my favorite one.
off the top of your head.
It probably when he marries Selma.
That's what I had down.
Yeah,
Same
I
one.
like that one a lot, but it's really hard to choose because as long as it's not the television one, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that one. Like the
I
one where he
like that
becomes
episode when he's not.
it's strange. It's a very
Yeah,
strange episode.
I
I
like
felt
it
like they
when
were
he's
just trying
not
to
on it.
shoehorn.
Yeah, I like it
Yeah,
when he's not on it. Like all the stuff with the army base, but when he's on it, I'm like, you're wasting it.
yeah,
I go with when he marries Selma or when his brother comes
yeah.
along.
Well, I just thought it was cool that they had David Hyde Pierce to be in
Oh yeah.
it at all.
Uh-huh.
So like the dynamic there too is like incredible. Mostly because they just based it off Frasier, which I get.
Hmm.
I didn't watch that show until like much later when that got added to Paramount, and it's pretty good. But I mean, there's also the one where he tries not to kill Bart. Oh,
Yes.
actually, no, I'm sorry. I think Cape Fear actually might be the best one. Oh, that's
That
tough. That's really hard. But
I was
whenever
going
they
back
have
and
him
forth with Cape
on,
Fear in that
it's
one, but
usually
I
pretty solid.
yeah, I gotta go
Cape Fear's
with
great.
Selma. I think it's because it's like the Scooby Doo aspect of the kids trying
Hmm.
to solve everything, and then Selma. She's not on any of my list, but she's one of those that almost made it type of thing. I love Patty and Selma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Selma's great.
yeah,
Patty's fun too.
yeah,
Yeah, good list. So
yeah, and yeah, I had Disco Stew. I had
yeah.
Dr. Nick. Hans Moleman, everyone loves Hans Moleman, whether they want to admit it or not. He's just another one of those sad, pathetic characters. And honestly, he's almost never on it. And he's kind of like Grandpa. If he's there, it's for a joke. Is for some reason I love Jasper Beardley. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jasper. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Jasper has some fun additions.
yeah.
He's a good one.
He's a fun one. I have one-off characters and celebrities. So this can be someone that's a character that's been on once, and
Hmm.
you really really love them. Can be the celebrity playing themselves. So like Mel Gibson, for instance,
Yeah.
or it can be a character that's been on like 2 or 3 times, but it's usually 5 seasons in between, like Mother Simpson.
Okay.
So if that makes
Well,
sense.
it has to be uh oh my god, I just like thought of the name and then it escaped. Oh, Hank Scorpio. He's got to
He's
be
my
on
number
that.
one.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. I
good
mean,
for
like, I
you.
think most people probably would
Yeah.
because like the episode gets like more absurd the more that you watch it. Especially like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, I kind of like the idea of having a boss who he really likes, but he's actually evil.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you see it, like it just becomes like a perfect like caricature of that type of trope.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good episode too. I would probably say John Lovitz as the critic in
Oh, good
particular
one.
is a really good one because I like that episode in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was John Lovitz's like best role in the
Yeah.
show, and that's hard to say because he's been in like so many of them. Even
Mm-hmm.
as like the art teacher is really good too. I love him as the art teacher from season one. But a lot of people probably say Artie Zip because he's of course like he's kind of like built out to be like that guy. But I love
Mm-hmm.
the that they brought the character into the show, and it worked very well with like
Oh yeah.
the festival that they were doing, and he was like animated in a way that wasn't like too distracting from
Mm-hmm.
the style that they were doing. I didn't watch that season until like wait, because like it was so hard for me to find like a DVD of those episodes. And a
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine who he became an animator actually was able to get it, and I was just like, oh my god, we have to watch all of it. And that was a great show. I liked it a lot. It was
Mm-hmm.
really funny. All right, so those are two right now.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of like a guest who like really like. I think Meryl Streep as Jessica Lovejoy was very good because I was so impressed that she was able to do a kid's voice like that, and I didn't even know it
Mm-hmm.
was her for a long time.
Good choice.
And she was great. Like
Oh,
the
she was awesome.
yeah that character in particular was I was just so blown away that it was even her. But and now I kind of want to pick a celebrity as themselves. Mel Gibson is a good one because that episode is funny. I don't think I'm going
Yeah.
to choose it though,
Okay.
just
I'll let
for
you. While you're thinking,
diversity.
I had Hank
Okay.
Scorpio. I had Hank
Yep.
Scorpio. Unky Herb Powell, Homer's half
Oh
brother.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wish. I mean, Danny DeVito. He's still popular with Always Sunny and stuff like that. There's no way he wouldn't do it again. You
It
know what I
really
mean?
works for that character too.
Yeah.
The first time I saw that one, hey the cat, what's up? He's gonna knock things off the thing, so don't worry about him.
No, you're fine.
I think that like I didn't expect him to play a character like that because at
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the episode when you're introduced to him, he does seem like pretty aggressive, which you would probably get from like a Danny DeVito type of character.
Mm-hmm.
But there is actually like a lot of like heart that he puts into like, oh, I just want to have like a family and things like that. Even
Yeah.
when he comes
And
back again, I thought it was a good
he really cares
performance.
about the kids. That's what I like about it. He likes being
Mhm.
an uncle to them.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what he's the
sweet.
one that did like, can you call me Unky Herb? As dumb
Yeah,
as it sounds, he likes it.
and then Homer
My
fucked it all up.
celebrity. Well, before I go to the celebrity, my other, and it's just a one-off character. I don't know why. Again, it's these sad characters. I put Chester J. Lampwick, the bum that put Itchy and Scratchy Studios out
Oh,
of business. Paint my
interesting.
chicken coop. That bum. It's just one of those.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's always wanting to fight, and then I just love how when he gets his $1 billion, he
Yeah.
yeah.
So don't worry
When
about him. He's just
yeah,
like, yep, there we go. There was one
yeah,
thing.
yeah, it's Wednesday. You're used to that. I love how he wastes his money on like a gold house and a rocket car. Stuff that
Mm,
he doesn't need. He should be buying food and clothes and stuff like that. And then he's just a fun bum. And then my celebrity, it was tough because it's an
it's really
episode. It's one of
hard.
my favorite episodes. But I picked Ron Howard in the episode
Oh
with
yeah,
the two.
he's always really funny though. Whenever he's like even just a random guy, because I
Mhm,
think I remember I saw that was the one with
Alec Baldwin.
yeah, and Kim
Yeah,
Basinger, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I
So
think it's Bassinger. Yeah, yeah.
Messenger, I don't fucking know. So, anyways, like I remember I saw the episode when it came out, and I was just like, "Oh, that's really cool that Ron Howard was in it," because I didn't even know. And
Hmm.
then they kept like reusing him a little bit, like here and there, and he was always like very funny. Like I always liked the character that they made of him and made it like kind of bigger. Like he actually is like an asshole
Yeah,
or something, but he's not.
I know it's great. It's just like Homer. Do I smell vodka and wheatgrass? Yeah, I call it a lawnmower. You want one? Yeah, just stuff that
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
picture from. It's the guy from Happy Days and Andy Griffith and Homer. We're out of vodka, and then
Oh,
at the
okay. I
end when
think
he
I
tries.
got my answer,
Okay, go
but
ahead.
it's not George Bush.
I'll allow it.
It's
I'll allow
not.
it.
It's not him. I know that, but like
No, I'll
that
allow it because
episode is
it's a
so
one-off.
funny.
It's a one-off
It's a
character.
one-off, and it was a great episode. Because
Yeah,
it's so absurd that like
yeah.
he would just But a lot of honorable mentions, I would say. Like I really liked who was the substitute in season
Uh,
2. Uh,
the one Lisa fell in
Mr.
love with.
Bergstrom.
Yeah.
He's great as that
Hmm.
character, and they had like the parody of like the substitute in there, or the
Hmm.
graduate rather in there.
Yeah.
I think whenever Bob Barker's on, he's really good.
Hmm.
I really liked when Red Hot Chili Peppers was in that whole Chrissy Gets Canceled episode. I think is like just a treasure trove of like awesome people. Uh, and I think like another one I was sort of thinking of that. I can't remember the name of the character and also the voice actress for her, but it was the therapist when Marge like is afraid of like flying and stuff.
Oh, okay. I know
I
who.
just thought that she was so like impressive in that
Hmm.
particular role, and she
Yeah.
did like the whole delivery of the therapist to be like so calm and the way
Hmm.
that you would expect like a therapist to be. But yeah, a lot of honorable mentions with that one. It's really hard to
I
choose.
know. Well,
And Michael
speaking,
Jackson, of course, is
he was
yeah,
great.
he was
He,
great,
he
very
was so
fun.
much fun, and that's why I do say we're not going to get into anything, but that's why I always say go with physical media because that episode
Yeah,
is not streaming, and if you haven't seen it,
yeah, it's great.
buy it on eBay or whatever because you got to see it or
Yeah.
find it online. You know what I mean? You got to see it. Um, I'm not going to keep it too much longer because I know we're built on time, but we got 2 more categories. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
First off, we're going to do Treehouse of Horror segments. Okay.
Okay.
So
Good.
you have many
Just don't
things.
ask me
Many
for
things.
episodes I don't
No, 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 no,
remember.
no, 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 no.
I'm
We're going
really
to
bad
do.
with the Treehouse of Horrors. I will say, like, I remember a lot of things very well up to season 10, but the Treehouse of Horrors is where it gets like
If you can't
kind
think
of.
of 4,
No, I
that's
can.
okay.
I could if it's
Okay.
segments, I could do it. I
Yeah.
promise.
Segments of
All right.
top 4
The
is
Treehouse of
Treehouse
Horror
of.
was one of them. Well, I think the one with the aliens and from season 1 where they get abducted is my favorite. Like,
Okay.
full stop. Just because I think it's great that like stupid bit with the cookbook,
The
and
cookbook.
it's just like ridiculous. So it's very funny. That seems like a Conan joke,
Hmm.
but I can't remember like when he got on the show.
I think that
I
was
remember
season
he left
4.
after season 6, I
Yeah,
think.
he was
So
there for season 4 because he wrote the monorail episode. I know
right,
that.
okay, yeah. It just seems like a Conan joke though to
Oh yeah.
me, and he writes the best ones on the show, I think.
Hmm.
So that one was amazing. I would say that the Smart House one with Pierce Bronson was really
Oh,
good.
I didn't
I
even
thought
think
that
of that one.
he was like great. And I mean, it's hard I think to give at least in my I don't know like anything about voice acting. I'd have like no experience, but
Hmm.
to give like a pretty inanimate object like a personality like that was really
Hmm.
cool. The one where the house like the haunted house, I guess, where yeah, that was also season 1, I think.
Season 1. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. It was awesome because they just didn't want to be around the Simpsons anymore and like ate itself. So that
When
was
when
pretty
the world
funny.
shut down, that was my profile picture on Facebook. It was the 4
Oh, really?
Simpsons
Oh,
family,
okay.
yeah, with the axes
Yeah.
for a month. I'm like, this is us, but it's one of those ones that still holds up. I watched
Mm.
it honestly a couple weeks ago, and it was still funny.
Yeah, I meant to go through the Treehouse of Horrors this past year, but I forgot like what I ended up doing instead. I think I watched like I don't know some other like horror show. But anyways, yeah. So that one, and I probably think everyone would put that butterfly effect episode where Homer keeps with the toaster going back to the past,
Toaster,
just because
yeah,
it's really well done for like a segment that probably lasts like what 7 minutes,
yeah, if
not
that,
even.
yep.
Oh, and the monkey paw one is good too. Damn it,
Oh,
because it's a stupid
I
Frogurt thing.
I forgot about
The
that one.
Krusty doll is awesome.
Yeah,
Krusty doll is really good. That one is
yeah,
really good.
yeah.
The
There's so
Raven is
many.
also good for like the
I,
poeticness of it.
I had the Raven. That's one that my four is. I put in the entire fifth episode, which is the time traveling toaster. It
Mhm.
is the kids being turned into sloppy joes,
That's a good
and
one, yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
that entire
That whole
one is
episode is very just because of the Willy that's like Willy at his
yeah,
peak, right? Like
yeah,
him coming
yeah,
in through every segment, breaking the
yeah.
fourth wall.
Other another one is when Bart resurrects the dead. You know, you killed the zombie Flanders.
Oh, yeah. He was a
That that's
zombie,
that's
yeah.
yeah, that's one for the
Mhm.
bits. I said the Raven, which I now appreciate more as an adult because as a kid, I don't
Mhm.
care about poetry and stuff like that. I couldn't appreciate it. And then I really like the one where Kang and Kodos take over Bob
Oh,
Dole and Bill Clinton.
the presidency.
Yeah,
The Treehouse of Horror, that's a hard one. There's a
yeah,
lot of, like, really memorable things, like, The Shining one is really good.
that was the other one for
It's hard to just pick 4.
okay. Well, we'll end it with this, and then I got two questions that I always ask everybody, and then
Mhm.
I know you got to go. All right, you knew this was going to be coming. Your top, you can have as many as you want. You can just blurt them out. I put 5 episodes for me, and then I had honorable mentions, just episodes
Mhm.
in general that you
Okay.
go back to, you love, and I'll go ahead and throw mine out there real quick, so that'll give you time to think. Does not have to be in order. Obviously, the monorail one, Marge versus the monorail, and you don't have to know the title of the episode. It's just the plot.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I put Marge versus the monorail because Conan O'Brien was just at his A game. You know, I call the big one Bitey with the
Yeah, the big
possums.
one, Bitey. Yep.
Batman's a scientist. It's perfect. Springfield, where they bring in legalized gambling, you
Yes.
know,
Yep.
because the whole boogeyman incident, Ralph and Lisa, in their pathetic outfits, it's just so much fun. And then Mr. Burns as Howard Hughes,
Yep.
get in, he
Yeah,
pulls the gun on Smithers. I said, get
the
in.
plane is so good. That's a really
Uh,
good one.
I love the X Files episode where Mr. Burns is mistaken as the
Okay,
alien.
yeah.
I bring you
Great
love.
guest on that one too.
Yeah, that one's really fun. The lemon tree, when the lemon tree gets
Oh,
stolen
okay.
and it's in Shelbyville,
Huh.
I run, boy. He's got the taste for meat now. Where they're running out
Right.
of the junkyard. Um, you brought it up. My number 5 would be versus George Bush because it's
Yes.
just so absurd. You know what I mean?
It's
It's the
great.
perfect Dennis the Menace episode.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
my two honorable mentions were Krusty gets canceled because of Gabbo,
Mhm.
and they just have everybody. Red
Mhm.
Hot Chili Peppers. It's just so much
Mhm.
sideshow.
That
Luke
was the best
Perry.
one
Yeah,
with, like, special guests.
yeah,
I totally agree with it.
yeah. Sideshow Luke Perry. And then my other honorable mention was the Insanity Pepper episode where Homer goes on his mystical journey to find his
Okay.
soulmate, and he meets
You know who
the
loves
talking
that
coyote.
episode?
Yeah,
You know who loves that episode? It's like his favorite one?
who's that?
CPA.
Really?
CPA loves, like, the Johnny Cash
Yes.
coyote like, he loves that episode so much. Really
Yeah.
good one.
The thing where that you follow the tortoise. So this is because I kicked you, right? Just little stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
just
it's zany.
yeah, real good.
It's like another good, like, Marge Homer one.
Hmm.
So my favorite one altogether is Lisa the Vegetarian. Just because I usually go for the ones that have like the sentimental endings to it,
Sure.
and like Lisa and Homer are pretty. Again, like that dynamic is like, and that episode I feel is very reminiscent of like how my
Hmm.
father and I can be.
Hmm.
Um, the hockey episode with Bart and Lisa, I love because the ending is just so good,
Hmm.
and how they're just like, it doesn't matter. Like we
Yeah.
just, it was a good
They're
game.
skating hand in hand while everybody's killing each other in the
Yeah.
stands. I
If you
love
think
it.
about it, it's like a good wrestling story because, like,
Hmm.
at the beginning, like one person's good at something, the other person's not. They have that rivalry up to the point where it's like it doesn't matter. We had like a good hockey game.
Hmm.
So it's a really good one for that reason. From there, I say Whacking Day is pretty good.
Hmm.
I really like Whacking Day just because I think the whole story of it is like from start to finish, like probably really like almost a perfect like wavelength.
Hmm.
Camp Krusty's also like up there
Good one.
too. But Itchy and Scratchy Land, I would say for sure is a favorite.
Yeah.
Completely. The joke it has like my favorite joke in it, which I think is like so ridiculous, is when they go down the log flume and it like increasingly becomes more dangerous. and they have to jump on the mat.
Yeah.
Like that's so like insane.
Even,
And I'm like a good Jurassic Park like parody.
yeah, nobody
But
messes
I
up
would
the
say like
vacation except for me and maybe the boy.
yeah, maybe the boy. Yeah, like I love Itchy and Scratchy Land so much that
Yep,
that episode like I probably replay a lot. And I would say like another honorable mention would be Flaming Moe's.
good one.
Yeah.
Is there any Simpsons quote you use in your everyday life? You know,
Get that cat out of the way. I say a lot because I mean,
I
that was
bet.
a good example. I love the way that he says "get that cat out of the way." Sometimes my roommate and I will just sing the stuff from Planet of the Apes musical. 'Cause, like, it's a very. I thought it was like actually pretty good. You
It
can't go
is.
wrong with. I think Elfman actually did right up
Hmm.
to that point. Yeah, he was still on at that point, so it was just
Yeah,
kind of like, oh yeah, he got the bootleg recently. That's a
yeah, he
shame, but
did.
he wrote a lot of really good stuff. Um, oh my god, that one is good.
Yeah, for me, I
Uh,
usually when my daughter is asking a question or she's trying to figure something out, and she's like,
mhm.
"Oh, that's it," and I always say, "Well, there's your answer, fishbulb." With the whole
Oh, okay.
Mr. Sparkle stuff,
Yeah,
and then
fishbowl. Mm.
whenever my wife is trying to tell me like, okay, do this, do this, do this, it's I always add, like when Homer's like, yep, 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 cat in the furnace, that those are
Cat in the
my
fruit. Yeah, that's
those
a
are my
good
go-to's.
one. Probably misses his glasses. I say that too. Only because like you'd be surprised how many wrestlers actually wear like glasses
Uh-huh.
and not contacts, and
Yeah.
then they're like missing their glasses or like I don't know where my glasses are. I'm like probably misses his old glasses. That's a really dumb one. There's definitely like more, but it's all like situational.
Hmm.
Or I'm just like remembered of a bit whenever something comes up. So maybe I don't
Yeah,
really quote things as often.
that's okay.
I should.
uh
I should
well
start.
we're at our hour limit. I do end these episodes with two questions I ask everybody. Gina, when your cat's not annoying you, when you don't have bookings, and if you have a free weekend to just relax, what does Gina Monti do to relax for 48 hours? There's no wrong
Uh,
answer.
I play video games most of the time. Though now that's starting to get warmer out, I'm excited to go biking again. I'm hoping that it doesn't rain on Sunday, so that's probably what I'll be doing at least
Okay.
this weekend.
And final question I always ask everybody. We don't know when our last day on Earth is, but if you knew that tomorrow was with no limits, what would Gina Monti's final meal be? Now, I've had people do the whole appetizer salad, da 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 da. If you
Mm.
want drinks, you can throw in drinks. Madman Pondo said he'd be happy with stovetop stuffing. You know what I mean? There is no wrong answer. What would Gina Monti's final meal be? No limits.
I'm not like I just like have sushi and pizza and I'm happy. I will say though, like if it is the last day on Earth, I'll probably like break into a store and just open up as many magic card like packets as I can. Because Magic the Gathering cards are expensive. So
That's what I love. I love to tell people that they don't realize that a lot of professional wrestlers or people involved in professional
yeah,
wrestling they love to play Magic the Gathering.
I love
I
Magic the
love
Gathering,
I love
but
seeing
it's
like
so
backstage photos
expensive.
of like Doctor Redacted. After a match hasn't changed, he's
Yep.
playing
Mhm.
Magic with people backstage and
Yeah,
stuff like.
I
It's
love
just a lot of
Magic.
fun just seeing stuff like that. I remember when
It's
that
one
was
of those
big when I was in
questions
high
where like
school.
people say, "Oh, if you got a lot of money, like there'll be signs." I'm like, once I start playing Magic again, that'll be the sign that I made it big.
Well,
Yeah, with a
Gina,
meal, I don't know. I guess like a meal would be the last thing I'd be worried about if it was my last day on Earth,
hey,
but
sushi and pizza is
whatever.
fine. Like I said, whatever makes you
Yeah.
happy. If you while you're breaking in there and you're holding the slice of pizza while you're ripping open the magic package, it's okay. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So with that, Gina, I want to thank you for giving me an hour of your time. I had a
Yeah,
blast.
no
I
problem.
really had a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like I told you, it's just we were gonna talk Simpsons for a half hour, but
Yeah, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it was a lot of fun. Is there anything you need to promote? Upcoming appearances? I know you do Twitch or anything you want to promote at all before we end
I was
this.
thinking about streaming next week, but I don't really know like what to stream. I got like a few silly games, but I don't really stream often anyways. So
Hmm.
I think just if you follow me on X or Twitter, you'll pretty much get all the info there. So yeah,
All right.
that's all I got to promote.
That's okay. With that, again, thank you, Gina. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad. First off, sorry I got our dates mixed up the last time we talked. It's just been crazy. But
I do that all the time. Like I'll say, "Hey, these are the dates that you'll see me at this or this," and I have to delete the post and do it again because I'm thinking of like May or something. So
all right,
happens.
good. So with that, I am Eric. That is Gina Monti. Support your independent wrestling. Watch some good Simpsons, and
Mhm.
I'll see you in the next stream. Cheers.
Especially the last one.